Hey guys, welcome to Taste of Recovery, the podcast.
Where we explore one's honest journey of surrender, willingness, acceptance, and courage.
I'm Alicia Spenlove.
And I'm Eden Sassoon.
Please join us every week for authentic and raw conversations with inspiring people in recovery.
We invite you and our guests to get real because the disease of addiction does not discriminate.
Oh, no, it doesn't. And we go through so many emotions. We laugh, we cry, we pray.
So get ready for a taste of recovery.
You know, we have all these like little analogies and stuff. They're all like signposts to tell you, don't go this way. But you know what? Sometimes my alcoholism loves to blow through that intersection.
Hey all, we're so lucky to have Michael N. in the studio today.
Enjoy his taste of recovery.
What did you expect 1 year of sobriety to look like?
I envisioned something completely different. I envisioned like my daughter giving me a cake at some huge meeting, like, you know, and my parents sitting in the fourth aisle weeping, crying, and, you know, this just big, huge, and then bravo, Michael, bravo. Oh my God, do you see this man here? He's such a shining example of Alcoholics Anonymous. Right? And look at the measures that he does not half-step it. He is there 100% of the time. Like, do you see? I don't want to, you know, I'm thinking because one of my friends who used to sponsor me, he said, yeah, I tell my, you know, newcomers, that guy goes to any fucking lengths, you know, to go after us. And I really hung my hat on that. I did for a little bit, like, you know. And guess what? It was the same thing that I was seeking when I got my leg.
By the way, he has one leg and a prosthetic.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I was in my using, like when I got my leg, I thought everybody was going to party and no one did. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, oh yeah, he got his leg. No one gave a fuck. And like the 1 year. So these are the things I was telling myself. Like, even though my friends, like, you know, that I've gone in this journey with sobriety for like 4 or 5 years, you know, that I had reestablished contact. Now, I wasn't going to any meetings or whatever, but I'm calling my sponsor. I'm checking in. You know, he's a good friend. He's like a friend in sobriety who I just dumped, like once I got loaded, because that's what I do. I switched sponsors. You know, I sponsor shop because I don't like the way you're doing your program. That doesn't fit. It does not fit or apply. It does not work with my current schedule. Don't you know I need to go to the gym in the morning? I gotta go to work. Yeah, it just doesn't fit, right? And so I don't like your program. So I'm just gonna find a new one.
Seems to me like you're very self-centered and you're running around trying to do it your way.
Yes.
A lot.
Absolutely. So the disease is right.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
Relief is coming. We're going to be out of the cage soon.
So where'd you find the relief?
We're going to be out soon, huh?
What'd you do?
So, like, all the way up until the point, like, okay, so the job stopped working. Okay. I'm not doing well in my job anymore because I can't even connect. Like, I hate everybody. You know what I mean? I hate, you walk in the door, I'm working at a gym, right? And like, you know, I've got no program. I'm dry as fuck. You know what I mean? If I had a dog, I'd probably kick it across the room. You know what I mean? In sobriety. I'm actually suicidal. Like 3 weeks before, I actually went down because a guy in my building committed suicide and like one level up, and that brought back thoughts. And so I was losing my mind in sobriety. Job's not working. I got no meetings and I'm isolating because I'm not going to call and reach out to anybody because I'm too filled with pride and ego. You know what I mean? Yeah, I can't do it. And so then, you know, I try to get the help and, you know, I'm trying to manipulate the folks and I'm back to arranging all the pieces again. And this is what my life looks like in sobriety. It's very chaotic and it's not very peaceful. prayer, meditation out the window in the morning. I'm not saying 3, 7, and 11 in the morning. I'm not doing my routine. I'm not asking. I'm all about me and my design and my plans. And it's just not working out. It's not working out that way. No one else sees it my way. Mm-hmm. And they're certainly not being cooperative. I want to be given everything just for showing up.
Right. Just because you only have one leg and you're kind of half-assed willing to just be like, I'll do it, but so you want it handed to you. I totally get that. I understand. Give it to me on a silver platter and don't make me do anything for it.
Yeah, right. No, I'm like, okay, I'm here. I'm active. I'm participating and I'm sober. Thank you, society. You should be thanking me, society. Right. I am not I'm not running around the streets possessed by demons anymore. Yet. I am letting your community rest.
You guys,
because
those
that's
of
what
you
I was.
that are listening, let me just preface this though, because we're laughing about this, but in actuality, this is very serious and the disease wants him dead, all of us dead. Mm-hmm. And so we can laugh because he's sitting here now 60 to 75 days with clean by the grace of God. Right. So it's not a joking matter, but because we can laugh at our sobriety because we do put in the work, great. But those that are listening, I just needed to make that very clear.
I think it's, I can laugh about it because you might find that your voices might talk to you in the same manner. This is just what's happened, and this has just been my experience as to what unfolded after my gazillionth time at trying at this. You know what I mean? Because I've been, like I said before, my preface, been in this program since 19, in and out. Let me back up. So, what takes me out?
Yeah, what took you out?
I got a new leg. Grateful. Things don't work out for me. Like, I think I'm being able to go after my dreams, I'm going to be now, I'm going to be fully functional. I'm going to be whole again. And I'm going to get back to a semblance of my former self when I had 2 legs and I was more capable. That didn't happen. It didn't happen. And in fact, as quickly as I got a little taste of being well, once again, it quickly went away. And so the pain returned. And in that pain body that I was in, I found it very difficult and challenging to be grateful. Found it very difficult and challenging to work. I wasn't happy for my job. Like, I wasn't happy to be sober. I was not happy in any way, shape, or form. I was in constant pain, and then I was angry with everyone in the world. Especially, I had returned back to where I was in my drinking and using, which is, pretty selfish and filled with bitterness. F you, F everybody. I was sitting in a bus stop after work, and I had two bus drivers just basically pulled up. They stopped. And I was gathering my things, cause I was tired. And then they just pulled off on me. And then I was just like, fuck it. I was like, I'm done. Fucking done. So that mental blank spot, right? I'm out. Deuces. Fuck this. I'm fucking tired. I'm tired and I'm not going to do it anymore. And so the obsession.
It's a decision.
Yeah. The obsession returned and the thought, actually, I don't even want to call it an obsession. I just said, I want to get loaded because I like the effect it produces and I just can't deal with myself anymore. I can't deal with myself. No, I'm just not willing. I'm just not willing to go through any more pain. I want something that makes me feel good and I want it right now. And so I was like, okay, I know this is going to be injurious. I know this is not going to play out well. It's not going to end well. I don't even know when it's going to end. But you know what? I'll take that trip, run it. I'll do it. Let's go. Just all the evidence I've ever had before jails, institutions, death, numerous times. Run it. Let's go. I'm a man that lost his leg as a direct result. That's okay. I got another one still. Like, let's roll the dice and let's see where this ends up. And then once again, I'm like, surely I know enough. I am well equipped and I'll be able to stop. And I said to myself, it's just going to go, I'm just going to do a little meth this weekend.
Just a little tiny bit.
And surely, like I had done 1,000 times before, I told myself the excuse, like, I'll stop by Monday, you know, and I'll go back to work.
There you go. Stopping on Monday.
Yes,
doing that math and then going right back to work.
It's Thursday night. I've got plenty of time. And that's essentially what I did.
So you went back to your old stomping grounds, found the people and situations.
No. I went back to my apartment, asked my girlfriend, and I said, we getting fucking high. And like, I'm going to like, you know, do what we do.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to run in, you don't have to like go anywhere now.
Right.
We're going to hunker down in this apartment now.
And she said yes.
Oh, of course. No, she went and got it. You know what I mean? Like she already knows. I mean, I've done this stuff many times before. My one weekend run.
Okay.
Turned into 2 months.
Okay.
2 months every day, all day. And it went like this.
Oh, yeah.
This is how I get down. It went pipe, cigarette or vape, drink. Pipe, cigarette, drink, 24 hours straight. Ooh. And we fall out when we fall out, meaning we micro nap. And essentially when it's time to like,
right.
You know, I'll nod. And so, you know, it goes from like party to, you know, oh, this was a really bad idea again. But it was alone. It was very alone. You know, the jumping off place, return, hideous four horsemen. You're just in a different shape, like terror, bewilderment, frustration, despair. All those things come roaring back, like immediately. And especially if you got a head full of AA, it's like, oh my gosh, as soon as you take that and you exhale and you get the ease and comfort that the first drink or drug provides, it quickly evaporates. And what you have is a head full of AA, or you have shame and guilt that is left over. And whatever that looks like for you, it will return, right? You know what I mean? Immediately. Because, you know better. You really know better. And like for me, it was just like that came roaring back. So the party was over already before it even began. And then she would leave and then I would be by myself, you know, once again. And now it's like, ooh. That's when it's out to get you, right? It's really out to get you. It's going to take you. And so the mind took over and then the mind starts playing tricks on you. And
now you're in like a psychosis?
Yeah. So, we're in psychosis and I'm thinking she's doing this over with us and over there. And she may or she may not be. It doesn't matter, right? Like I'm definitely a distant. I have no other contact. You know what I mean? I'm fixated on one thing. I'm back into the room. You know what I mean? And that's all I care about. And so I just slipping back into the fantasy world and then like, oh my God, I just need to get a nut and I need to smoke. You know what I mean? And it's just this vicious cycle. And that's how big my world is. And that's all I care about. And I'll do whatever I need to do. Mm-hmm. And then I'm just this up, down game.
And was anyone from AA reaching out to you during this time?
Yeah, I mean, I had like a sponsor. He reached out for about as good as he possibly could be, about a week,
I'm sure I texted you a bunch.
Yeah. No one's going to hear from me. I go dark. You know what I mean? At that particular point, like I said, I've stiff armed you all, you know what I mean? And I've high stepped over you, like, yeah. I know better. I'm already gone. And so for me, like my experience is like, why didn't you call your sponsor? And like, no. I'm way past that.
I'm in another fucking universe. Sponsor who?
I don't even remember who my sponsor's name was.
Sorry, that's not funny.
Yeah.
What about, I know you have a daughter.
The whole 18 months you were sober, did you see her?
Yeah, you did, because I met her.
I got to see her, I think, twice. The reason I mention it to you, like, and especially right now, is you don't always get what you want just because you're fucking sober. You really don't.
No, you don't.
The family afterwards may not come back. And you have to be okay with that. Like, there might be too much fucking wreckage. You know what I mean? And I've also noticed my daughter's now 15 and a half. Like, she might not be as cool as she was about it when she was fucking 12, you know, because she's now dealing with her own little stuff. And she's like, maybe, just maybe, I'm not the center of the universe anymore, you know? And so I got to be okay with that. Like, and how do I do all this? Okay, so let's get back into the rooms, right? We mustered up the courage. We get back into it. We set aside our ego and our pride. We once again crawl back in. I got off the meth, and then I dialed back the alcohol, and then I said, okay, and I slept. And then I was like, okay, now I'm prepared to go back to Moore Park, right?
Before you went back to the rooms, what was the moment that told you that you needed to go back and be sober again, even though you didn't have everything in your life that you wanted your life to look like?
I had nothing. I had the comfort. I could have kept the using going.
Well, hold on. You still had something because you weren't in jail. You weren't in an institution, and you might have been close to death, but we don't know.
No, I was in an air conditioned apartment, and you know, and things. You know,
you had more
I could have
to
kept
lose.
going. Yeah, I could have kept going easily. This was not a bottom. That I've had far.
But you made a decision to get sober again.
Yeah,
that's big.
It is, and I think it was like time to stop the bleeding. I knew a better way. I knew a better way. I knew I had experienced enough in Alcoholics Anonymous. I love Alcoholics Anonymous. You know, but I had soon forgotten because I had been so far removed. And it wasn't just the 2 months. It wasn't the 2 months. It was the 3 months prior. It was I was basically dry for month 10, 11, 12. 13th, 14th, 15th. Yeah. And I drifted away from you. And so I got back in, you know, I came back in with like courage and like, you know, what's this? It was different. And, you know, I'm so, oh my God, I hate those questions. Like, you know, cause it's what you always get. Like, I come back in and, well, what are you going to do differently? And this and that. And
but let's talk about that for a minute.
Fucking know.
Well, that's what we're going to talk about for a minute because those of you that are listening, that if you're struggling and you've been in and out of the rooms, like, what are you going to do different? Here's my group leader kind of not coming out on me. But for real, like, what are you going to do different? Because next time you go out, Michael, you could be dead.
Oh, no. Yeah. And probably more than likely the chances are that could distinctly happen. I mean, it's going to end up one or three ways.
Right.
It's jails, institutions, or death.
Right. And Alicia and I don't want to go through that. Selfishly, like, I don't really want another problem because all I do is another problem. Okay, I'm going to surrender to it and turn it over. Oh, another problem. Okay, we're going to surrender to it and turn it over. So maybe you don't have to be one.
Right. No. And that would be the non-selfish thing to do. But, you know, I'm not exactly.
Okay. So what are you going to do?
I'm not exactly a pillar of not being selfish. Like, that is root is the center of all my problems. Right. And so, like, you know, so we come back in and like, you don't have any understanding of that again. Remember how like before it happened, I said, I am very well equipped to handle, you know, surely I'm enough knowledge.
But when I came back this time, I had the gift of desperation and I was willing to do anything it took to change my life. And I knew exactly what I needed to do different. Guess what that was? Every fucking thing.
Yeah. And so I thought I had captured that in especially the first one because I really felt like I had enough willingness. I think I checked all the boxes and I really felt like, you know, I had earned some AA G-Man badge or like merit badge for my efforts going all the way across the valley, for going to any lengths to get, you know, chasing down my sobriety, you know what I mean? And I did
one leg.
Yeah, with one leg on a scooter, just just huffing and puffing across the valley, and like, and I was working, and it's like, you know, I was doing the damn thing in a sense, and I felt as though I checked all your boxes, like, you know, and
but you didn't. So hold on.
No.
Do you mind that I go here with you for a minute?
Yeah.
So you didn't.
No.
So you went out.
Yeah.
And now you're back by the grace of God.
Right.
Because you realize, you realize the gift of desperation that you could have been gone, or something brought you back here, which Alicia was trying to ask you. Like, what was that?
I believe that it was like, okay, once again, I kind of established that there was in the first sobriety that like, well, God was going to use this purpose in this message. I needed to find in this sobriety and what it brought me back and what I had failed to do, had done so in before in the past is I was checking all the boxes and I was going through and I did just 4-step again. And like I did these things and check, but no change had taken place.
Do you feel like you just decided just stop doing the work?
Yeah, absolutely. I was so frustrated because I just felt like I did everything that you had asked of me.
And you were a drug addict. But the thing is we always have to keep doing the work. And maybe sometimes like with AA, yes, of course, that's a great program. But sometimes we have to go maybe to outside help, to therapy, or really get into meditation. Sometimes we got to change it up a little bit. But yes, stay connected to our sober community for sure.
Well, and I'm glad you mentioned that because it was my therapist who got me back in and coached me, like through that insanity. She got me back into, like she planted the seed back to the seed back.
Yeah, because you want to know why? Because it works if you work it. There was obviously something that you weren't working.
Yeah, no, absolutely. My God wasn't, the bottom line was when I came in here, my God wasn't big enough. My God wasn't bigger than my disease. Like my God wasn't loving enough. My God wasn't, it was bite size. It was bite size, and I really
totally understand.
And that before, like, and I tried to use your God and your God and your God in the group and that might work for some people. And it did, it certainly served me pretty damn well for a long period of time. And then it didn't. And it's like what you said. It's a daily practice. This isn't a wasm. It's every day. It's not going anywhere. Okay. Newsflash. You're going to have this every day, and everything that the book talks about, it's contingent upon your daily maintenance and growth of that. Like,
Amen.
And if my God's not big enough,
that's what I'm about to
and
go.
I'm not checking in with it on a daily basis.
Let's get beyond that. So if your God's not big enough and you're not checking in, that's step one, right? I got to check in with my God. What do you want from me? Oh, you want me to go be of service to that, but I don't want to, but I don't care.
Yeah. Because if you don't want to and you want to take back and you want to bring your silly little plans and your little designs and you want to be the producer again, good luck.
Right.
Make sure you look both ways before you start jaywalking across the street again.
Right.
Because the train's coming. And like, I'm the fucking jaywalker in the book, the book describes. And you know what? You're going to, why am I jaywalking again? I don't know. Like, cause you're the fucking jaywalker. And you think you can get away with it again, and then you're fucking back in the cellar and turn into the tornado and you come back out. Oh, gee, I wonder. Nothing to see here.
Right. And when we were talking earlier, we were talking about being an athlete. Even though if you're this successful basketball player, it doesn't mean you stop practicing every day. You practice.
We get a daily reprieve. And so like when I finally actually drilled back into, it's in the first 164 pages and anything else outside of that is just like people's, but I can't recall.
Okay, don't recall. But I'm going to listen and I'm going to ask the questions. And then when I get the answer, I'm going to take action. Because I know if I don't take that action, I'm going back to my familiar past. And in that familiar past lies a predictable future. And that future, we know what looks like.
And so you get up in the morning and like for me, my practice, say 3, 7, 11. And you know what my God asked me, and we get these tools in AA. My God asked me to go out and be of service and try to find ways to do that, asshole. Like, you know what I mean? Stop thinking of yourself and your own little designs and your own little plans and do what I say in the 3rd, do what I say in the 7th, my creator. And then 11,
Yeah.
And I tried to do that. And then guess what? I still got more work to do.
Yes.
Sadly to say.
Yes.
It doesn't stop there. Like I got to chip away. And so you get the 4-step, I'm reluctantly doing that again. Good. But what that does is when it removes some of my resentments, even though I think, and I tell myself, I don't have any more resentments. I've already done your stupid exercises 100. I've done hundreds of 4-steps since the same people. Well, maybe there's a reason. There's the same people, but it allows me to when I do these exercises, it allows me to rid myself of that bitterness and that resentment that I might be still holding on to. And then when what ends up happening, I can have community, like I can have community with you guys once again. You know what I mean? Cause I don't even see it.
And it's also just like giving it to God.
I was just going to say,
it's too hard for me to handle.
Yeah,
take these
too much
rocks off my back. I give it to you today. And also I think everything you've been through. Okay. You have been through it. You have a life to tell. You have a story. You're like a movie, really and truly.
So are you.
Well, thank you.
But that's what I'm saying. You know what? He's no different than you. I'm no different than him. Just because he has a story and I have a story and you have a story, so what?
Yeah, our stories are, it's funny. I think our stories are a lot different.
But it doesn't matter.
But it's the same.
Right.
Yeah.
So like he can't get away with, I have one leg. You can't get away with, I'm going through this right now. I can't get away with, I'm this age and that's happening. It doesn't matter. We have a disease that wants us dead. So what do we do?
We have to remind ourselves. We've got to remember how we were with all the substances, right?
Well, I mean, like, I know I was a train wreck. I know I'm not far removed. I have to stay close. Like, you know what I mean? My God has to be bigger. I have to not find the differences. Like, you know, I can't let this guy, just because he said this to me, chase me out of the rooms. You know, or just because he shared, you gotta do the steps 1, 2, 3, 4 in order. And if you're not doing it, sorry, you just don't belong in AA. Sorry, you know, like there's assholes in AA that would chase people out of AA. Okay. Like, honestly, that tell you this is how they did their program and this is the way you should do it. And if you don't do it, you don't belong. And that's fucking crazy to me. But I can listen to them. And my disease can latch on. And if I hear it enough a different way, like, this is what I understand about my disease.
I agree.
It will latch on to anything that separates me from you guys. Right? You know what I mean?
Because you know what?
And it's dangerous.
I'm not a big reader. So the book, I'm like, so a lot of times I feel the same way. Like, I'm not going to be doing my steps in that way. So I'm a big listener to the Joe and Charlie tapes.
Okay.
I love listening to that. And then I like to make notes. And then I go back to the steps. Yeah. So I learn differently, you know, so yeah, it is true. Sometimes I just think in life, people tell you to do a certain way. It's a guideline.
I do it the same though. I have to read with someone because I want to, because I'm learning something new. I listen to it on the app and I listen to it. Yeah. And then I'm like, okay, and then I don't even do the AA steps. I do the NA steps because I need a workbook. Okay. I need to walk through it intensely to get through the muck.
And so that works for you.
100%.
Joe and Charlie works for you. And that ain't gonna fucking work for me. Okay. I can tell you that. Maybe this is like podcast. Maybe it's the daily, Taste of Recovery podcast on a daily basis that you need to listen to that basically puts out the content and you hear that keeps you sober. I'm with whatever keeps you sober and keeps you go for it.
Can I offer something though? Because I wasn't always like this. Like I wasn't like, let me sit down and do this and do this and do this. I realized that, and I will say steps 1, 2, and 3 were the most important for me. And when I did get baptized and I did say, okay, God, what's your plan for me? There was enough surrender there to turn it over. And I face it every day. I shit you not every day, all the time that I have to have obedience. That word was never ever in my vocabulary.
Yeah.
Ever.
So obedience is great. I'm glad that's a really good word. That obedience helps you gain momentum, right? Momentum is a big one.
It is a bitch.
You want to keep staying obedient.
Yes.
And then you'll gain some momentum.
Every day it comes to me and then I'm like, okay, let's turn it over.
Choice.
But I had my own choice. Eden did what Eden wanted to do. Eden was given a certain things. I'm my own boss. I got my own business. I'm going to date my own. I don't want you anymore. I'm going to date you. I don't want you anymore. I do my own thing when I wanted. And I thought it was just okay. Yeah. That's not the way life works.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I'm literally like, who is this woman? I don't know if I like her as much. I actually love her, but I'm learning to like her. Okay. Which is an odd thing.
That's a good point.
It's odd.
It's foreign.
Completely.
Super foreign. It's super foreign, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh my God.
What the fuck? What is happening?
Am I losing myself?
Yeah. And thank God.
Yes.
Because when I got dunked. And everyone's like, dunk her again. Dunk her again. That's funny, but it's the truth.
Right.
And like, I came up and I'm like.
So the death of your former self, like, obviously, yeah. And it symbolizes, right?
Yep.
Everything that it symbolizes,
Yep.
right? Like the death of self. So once again, like, okay, I come back into church too. And guess what? It's like, my God's got to be right size. My God, I have to be right size, but my God's got to be a lot bigger.
Absolutely.
And I really got to believe in it. So like, for you, that's workbook, everything. Like, today, what I can tell you is my God has to be huge. And it really, because he's got a lot to deal with me. And it's still about me, but no, my God asked me to go out and do these things. Like when I put my selfish interests aside, I experience peace, right? So, and I participate in community and unity and service. I experience more peace. And then I get to, hopefully use this, my mess turns into a message of hope and redemption. And like, if he can do it for me, he could do it for you. And like this, it just keeps going, right? And it keeps building and like, so how do I do that? I have to tap in every day. I have to tap in, and whatever ways you go about doing that, I suggest you go out and find them. Like that,
your life depends upon it.
Your life depends upon it, because it does. Otherwise, you are fooling yourself. That whatever you think you got bottled up in a little, it is going to disappear. Like until you figure out and get a God that's big enough. And whatever that concept and whatever that God is, for me, I have to bank on that. And it has to be big enough to handle my problems, not me handling my problems. I have to lay it at the feet of him and know that one, his design's better. These are just like 1, 2, 3 is pretty basic, right? He can't, I can't, let him. That's just the dumbed down version. Like, I have to leave everything at his, and I have to lay down my life for him. I have to be willing to do that. And then I have to do that every single day. That's the unfortunate. Like,
when she talked about obedience, it's discipline, right? And we've heard this on our podcast a lot, freedom through discipline. I'm feeling the freedom through discipline, praying and connecting with God every day, how I do it, and with my meditation.
That's beautiful.
So I think that people, even if they're Buddhist or whatever it is, to connect with this positivity, the nature, Mother Nature, this earth, God, source, creator, and just this goodness inside of us, to know that we are here to just be, because we breathe, and to just share our light with everyone and help one another.
It's funny, what you just said is exactly God. God is God. God is light. God is love. God is being. God is all that we breathe, all that we are.
Lives,
God
I believe,
is good.
who I believe lives and resides within you.
100%.
And when you finally understand that, you could tap into that. And if God lives and breathes within and resides within and inside you, surely he can handle your drink problems.
Surely, right?
He is the creator of the universe. He's done a pretty good job so far.
We're sitting here now.
Yeah. What hasn't gone, in terms of let's evaluate performance, who's more well equipped to handle these things? Like
you or him?
You or him. Let's take a look at the scoreboard.
Right?
God, Michael.
Right.
Yeah, pretty shitty. Like the scoreboard's not even close. And then it's just like, oh my gosh.
Right.
Every time I do that, but you can't pick it up. Like you can't just like, okay, here you go, God. And then I have this beautiful, I'm just going to speak to my experience. I'm not going to, then I'm going to say, give me that give me the wheel back. Give me the
Yeah.
wheel back. That was all me.
Yeah.
Thank you, God. I got it from here.
Thanks, dude. Yeah. Thanks.
I'm driving this super diesel down the street now
Because
with the big swinging balls on the back.
Because when we let go, life is more beautiful than we ever even dreamed it could be.
I think we have the smallest brains that we can't even dream that big.
Oh my gosh, we don't even know.
No, we have no clue, and yet we think we know it all.
Oh yes, exactly.
We have to pay attention. We have to pay attention to who's brought in our life, you know? And I mean, look at us three sitting here together. Who the fuck would have thought?
Normally we would not mix, right? You know what I mean? I mean, I was definitely looking.
I love you.
I don't know. I was definitely looking for you girls at the party, all the parties.
We're looking for the one-legged hot guy.
I definitely was searching for it. It is a program of attraction. Thank God. You know, you two lovely ladies are more than beautiful.
As are you.
Yeah. Thank you for being you.
That's my line. Thank you for being you.
Yeah, thank you for being you.
You're welcome.
Yes, you definitely made it attractive to come into Alcoholics Anonymous, but but now, like, yeah, my God has to be big enough. It really has, and that's what I do. And then I can't want anything outside of that. Like, I really might, like, for me, I have to be okay. Like, I have to be okay with laying down my life each and every day and say, God, use me as you see fit, and let's go. So, you know, my Creator, I'm now willing that you should have all of me, good and bad. Pray that you now remove from me every single defect or character which stands in the way of my usefulness to you and my fellows. Grant me strength as I go out from here to do the bidding. You know, what's the other one? Third step prayer. So
leave me with the bondage of thyself.
Yeah,
that better do thy will.
Yeah, take away my difficulties, a victory over them, bear witness to those I would help of thy power, thy love, thy way of life. Not Michael's.
Right.
Like, so these are these tools, right?
See, on everything you're saying, Michael, it's like all I hear is, you know, that separation of self, because we just sit in self, and when we're in self, we're suffering. And so, like, why did God put us here? God put us here to be of service to someone else.
God put
together,
us here to,
community,
to love others. Love.
Period.
Love,
right?
Love others.
So
Love our
what
neighbors.
are we doing?
No. We don't love each other. We don't love each other. We take.
Right. We think we're right.
Yeah.
No, you're wrong. I'm going to do it this way. You want to do it my way? Because then I'm going to like you. You, like, what are we, what?
We got it really all convoluted.
Completely.
And so like, when I subscribe to that.
Yeah.
When I subscribe to that, you know what I mean? I know better. This, you know, come follow me, my way. You know what I'm saying?
You're good. You're walking towards the dark.
Yeah. You know what? I mean, eventually, I think it just separates us. Cause you know what? You could have there's plenty of people that got plenty of people that will follow them everywhere. You know what I mean? And millions of people would just be dying to, like, you know, but, there's false idols. You know what I mean? There's false idols. So like, I want to know that when I'm done, you know, and in my moments here on time, it's not going to be like, oh, you did a good job following that guy over there. You know what I mean? Like, no. I want to be like, you served me well, my child, you know, like.
So I have a question for the two of you, just thinking about like, you served me well, my child. So like when we think about the principles and we follow the principles in all our affairs, right? What does that mean to you? Because as I'm watching this and doing the work and seeing other people think, and then like rehearsing it more, like really confronted with it, like, ooh, all right. So how honest am I being even when I'm not engaging? That's dishonesty. My isolation is dishonesty because I'm not taking action and showing up, right? Surrendering to finding the courage, the awareness,
right?
The strength, the willingness, the open-mindedness, all of it. Like, and it's not an easy task to follow the principles in all your affairs. And yet you would think, oh, that's an easy way to live my life. Let me just be obedient to that. And yet we just fight it. And fight it a little more.
I think for me, like what I found is very, very challenging. Like, you know, I think if you could just dumb it down to being like loving and tolerant.
Love that idea.
Every single person that you come in contact, you know what I mean? Like for the principles For me,
it's a hard task.
That's a hard task.
Yeah,
I might spend some time beating myself up that I wasn't able to follow all the principles in the day. You know what I mean? So like, I mean, that's just for me. I've done that. I've sat in a room, and I'll probably do it once we leave here today.
Please don't do it.
I will take a daily inventory of how I fell short once again. You know what I mean? Because I'm a little bit new. It's a little foreign to me. I'm even though I've been in the rooms, like, I think at the end of the day, it's love and tolerance. And what's the best way, an example of showing that is being of service. I think sponsorship's a great thing that would help, is an ultimate example. And I think there's a lot of magic sauce in that, giving freely of your time, giving freely of what you find, enjoying us. I think the best way that you could possibly live, is in that service. But I don't have any experience. Obedience. I don't have any really experience other than, commitments and showing up. And I've sponsored a couple people. Yeah. But I'd like more what if, you cannot transmit what you haven't got.
100%.
So, it's important, I guess, to go through the steps. You know what I mean? Get through them so you can get to the magic sauce of sponsoring.
And they're in order for a reason.
They're in order for a reason. Yeah, but 24 hours a day, there's like 2, 4,
But I'm saying initially when you're working on the steps, they're really in order for a reason.
Yeah, they're made to be done in order, but you might, I don't know. I have so here's my experience with the 9th step, right? I've done a 9th step. Yeah. I certainly can't make all the financial amends, that is possible. So my thought process, the way my head is, well, then I can't have what's available to you.
Oh, no. Yeah, because I'm going to stay out of it.
Yeah, but my financial amends are very,
but
very,
you can
very
make a living amends. As far as just being of service to something else.
Maybe I can, maybe I can't. So then once again, my disease is telling me I'm separate from you once again.
Mm-hmm. And that's when you give those negative thoughts up to God.
Yeah. No, so that's where my God's got to be like, shut the fuck up.
Quiet down.
Shut the fuck up.
You barking chihuahua.
Seriously.
And so I have to say, no, well, that's not truth. That's not this. I have to give it. God's going to take care of me. Let's move on, And so there was a guy that asked me to sponsor him. He doesn't want, I tried to set a time, you know what I mean? I just got to stay ahead of him because I've learned that way. You just really need to stay ahead of the person, that you're sponsoring. Because I've sponsored people, and that helps because you know what? The bottom line is whatever it's going to take to keep you and me sober for the day, we're helping each other. This is a space where God exists, right? So I'm all about what's going to keep us all sober today. This helps, right? This is amazing. I hope that it helps somebody else. I think more so in my talk, I told you about what the pitfalls were, what my experience was. When I check in with God, I'm good. And if I'm with God and I'm good and I can go out and I can live in better harmony with everybody else. You know what I mean? I have to be okay with just being here, present, just being another one of God's children. I think when my ego or pride comes in, I become separate and things become ugly quick. We have all these little analogies and stuff. They're all signposts to tell you, don't go this way. But you know what? Sometimes my alcoholism loves to blow through that intersection, I will do some shit to sabotage my own self just to experience it. If I'm not tuned with God, and I'm not praying for that new experience every single day. The only way, it says, and clearly is a spiritual experience, that malady has to be cured, to overcome alcoholism. Everything else are suggestions. These are the tools that you pick up to avoid certain pitfalls and you can use and implement how you see fit. They're all suggestions. They're all used to rid yourself to become more of a vessel and to be a better, example of God's love.
Thank you so much for joining us. We hope these stories have touched your hearts and left you with a newfound appreciation for the incredible strength within us all.
And if you found our podcast to be a source of inspiration, we'd be extremely grateful if you could take a moment to rate and review us.
Yes, review us, review us.
Your support helps us reach more people on the path to recovery.
And while you're at it, hit that follow button on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcasts.
Remember, you're not alone. One day at a time, we got this.